Antonio, I know a lot of excitement always at the start of camp. It's kind of the same thing I asked Coach Rowland. Eventually you got to keep that enthusiasm stacked as you go throughout the year. What about this group have you seen so far that you believe this could be a group that can do that?
Just the work ethic, on top of, we know a lot of talented guys coming back. We have some young guys who played a lot of snaps for us coming back, but the work ethic this group has put out throughout the offseason, the summer, just hitting it hard. And I would say, like, our linebackers, I would give them a shout out to say they're probably the hardest working group I've seen around the country.
Why is that? I mean, whether it was Coach Mack, whomever, when I come in over the summer, like, I know he coaches the linebackers, but even Noah Fenske, like, man, you can see those guys working hard. I mean, why is it that group just really beams in that positivity?
I think Coach Mack has a huge part to do with it. He does a great job with diving into those guys individually, getting to know them as young men, getting to know what they're about, their families and stuff like that, and really learning how to work with them to help develop them. And then I think the brotherhood that they have bonded, not just with that group but with the team. They feel like they're a heartbeat for this team. They want to be that heartbeat for this team, and they take a lot of pride in that.
Last year, a lot of great things you did defensively, but as Coach Hill says, and everybody, you got to turn the page, and you don't get to pick up where you left off last year. Is that easy to do for guys, even though you have a good mixture of guys who are coming back, but is it easy for them to be like, we got to turn the page? It's now about this group moving forward.
It's hard to say. At times it's easy, at times it's hard. With this group right here, they've done a good job with just turning the page and moving from where we were. Knowing that was last year, like you said before, that was a 2023 season. We have a 2024 season coming, and it's you guys' turn to write your own history book page.
And even though last year was great, we cut out throughout the season, and as you know, there were things that you could definitely have been better at. So as you've gotten through the spring and now in the fall, what are still some areas where you're like, this is what we're really focusing on right now where we can improve and be a better version of what we were last year?
Definitely stopping the run, getting pressure on the quarterback. And, I understand the numbers say one thing, but I always, in my heart, feel like we can be better at that. And then also just being more disciplined on the back end with being able to exchange things in coverage. Last year we had a couple mess ups on exchange, really working through those kinks throughout the spring and the summertime, getting those guys in here to watch the film and see it a little better, and they're doing a good job with it.
Last year, of course, there were so many consistent guys, especially at each end of your defense out in the perimeter in terms of the cornerback room. Now there may be some new names there, but Jameer's a guy you guys were high on a year ago. We saw Dev today have a really good day in practice. Where is kind of the depth in that room and guys that you can rotate in and what you're really seeing right now in camp?
Yeah, I mean, just all in all, those guys are competing right now, which makes it exciting. A lot of times you got guys returning back who have names and embedded in the starting lineup for so long. Guys behind get a little complacent. I can't be the starter, but those guys see it as wide open and they're attacking that thing every day. Each individual in that room is doing a good job. You mentioned Jameer Khan. He's one of the most competitive players I've been around. Sebastian came in. Sebastian Vargas came up from Florida for us. He's doing a good job competing. Jeremiah Baxter transfer here. He's doing a good job competing. Devin Walton transfer from receiver over the corner. He's competing at a high level. Jeremiah Black is the guy who got here. He's competing at a high level. And then we got two freshmen that came in there doing a phenomenal job as well. David Miller, who had to sit out last year, is back, and he looks good moving around out there. And he's a guy who made a lot of noise in this conference throughout his time previous.
Look, it's like you can look at a lot of guys that are impressive and say those names, and even on the defense, the guys I always feel like maybe get forgotten about and they shouldn't are the Reeves brothers and how many games they've played, how many snaps they played. How valuable is it to have guys like that who have that experience, Antonio, that playing experience, but also they got that attitude, that edge about them that you want your defense to really embody?
First, it's great to have that type of experience coming back, especially up front. You need that large group of guys who know how to play hard and play throughout the game, no matter what the situation is. Good teams, bad teams, when we're down, when we're up, all that. The Reeves brothers specifically, I love having them around. They're some of the hardest workers. They really stepped into a leadership role this offseason, which has been great to see in their own personal development, seeing them call guys out, seeing them hold each other accountable and holding the other group accountable, and just being around all the time. They're a great support system for the other D linemen and new guys coming in, and then they're just great young men on top of that.
Dewey, another guy you're going to lean on heavily up front. He's talking about really reshaping his body a little bit in the summer, getting in better shape, et cetera. How big of a piece will he be in terms of the leadership, and how much of a better year could he even potentially have?
Yeah, as far as leadership, I mean, Dewey Green has done a phenomenal job. He's always been kind of a in the background leader. He's never been up front with it. out in front of the whole team or anything, but he's always grabbed guys and worked with them. And hey, you shouldn't be doing that. This is what you should be doing. Hey, why don't you try this? This is how we want to use our hands. He's always been that type of guy, like having another coach around. But getting to see him really assert himself maturely in front of the group has been a blessing to see. As far as his career, his senior season coming up, it'll be as big as he wants it to be. He's a young man who's very talented. He's played everything from a 0 nose at 220 pounds for me to a 9 technique last year, so, and everything in between there. So, and he's made plays at every position. So it's just about him being able to get out there consistently and get those snaps rolling. And if he gets in his groove, he can be a really special player.
Another guy, tons of experience, has played a lot within this league, not just here, is Iverson Brown. He's another one where you just kind of look and you go, man, that's a dude. And even how he's flying around in practice right now, staying healthy, I know is a big thing for him, as it is for everybody. Steed, I know, will take a big place. When you lose somebody like PJ, who did so much a year ago, those two guys specifically, and how will others try to, you never want to say replace a guy because you never fully replace a PJ Jules, but now everybody's just got a different role, and you got to fill that role.
Yeah, so Iverson Brown has really stepped up as a leader. That's one of the things. He's always been a guy, a hard-working guy. He's quiet though, never was a real vocal guy. And to see him start to vocalize and hold people accountable and set the standard of what he wants that safety room to look like has been a blessing. He's a hard worker, and it's great to see that from him. As far as Steed, Ube coming back, we got both of those guys coming back. Des Hearns made a lot of plays for us a year ago. He's extremely talented young man at safety. C.J. Parsons, who's a guy who didn't get to see the field last year due to some other things, is eligible to play for us and ready to go now. You look at those two guys, extremely talented guys, can cover up close to the line of scrimmage, can play off man, can play zones. Those guys know how to make some things happen. And then, the new guys coming in, Isaiah Bigby came to us from Division II level, and I mean he's a workhorse. He reminds me a lot of PJ, the way that he plays.